Good afternoon, and thank you everyone for joining us for the quarterly meeting on Wednesday, June 8th, 2022. I'm Jason Conway. I'm going to be your host today for this quarterly meeting. And as always, we do have standing room only here in my office as we are hosting the quarterly meeting. And want to thank everyone for joining us today, either live or those who are watching the presentation out there. So probably going to be a shorter quarterly meeting, since we did have our all celebration date together earlier and end of the year. And I'm sure everyone's looking forward to the summer. So let me just go over a few items that I want to share with the group here. So I am happy to share that even though our county has been in high when it comes to the CDC designation of COVID, we have seen not many cases, very, very few cases being reported here by employees as well as students. And so very happy, to share that things have settled down when it comes to cases. And again, special thanks goes out to those who were responsible for all of the close contact tracing that had to happen over the last 2 years. Now with the current guidance, really, we don't have to contact trace. It's basically dealing with positives. And so you would have noticed that when it comes to reporting, through the form, we really are just asking, about individuals who may have tested positive or presumed positive. And they are not recommending universal contact tracing unless it's in specific type of cases. So it would be such that if a large number of people or a group of students were in close quarters, for a significant amount of time, would be then maybe do contact tracing. It's situational. And so the team, as situations come to our attention, then we kind of make a determination if we're going to have to close contact and do exclusions there. But knock on wood, thankfully, we haven't had to have any of those types of discussions. So that's great news. Also wanted to share that in executive services, we do have some exciting news to share, and that is the board has agreed to create and allow us to fill a position known as the marketing and communication specialist position. And that position is going to be in charge of assisting with the branding of the organization. And their main responsibility is going to be storytelling of what the organization does and what it can do for others. Part of that position also is going to be working with school districts and our other school entities on projects that they might need for marketing and communications and public relations. And those may include designing of event flyers, to directory of services, to handbooks, to anything that is going to help be a communicative tool. Some of our districts do not have the resources to be able to do that on their own. And so that's one of the great things about intermediate units is we can pull what the needs are and provide those services, through a single resource, such as a person that we're going to be bringing on. So we're very, very excited that the board was supportive of that. Now, to make that happen, I do want to share that we do have an upcoming retirement, that of Charlene Welshons, and I'm sure she's going to be mortified the fact that I mentioned her during a quarterly meeting. So we'll make sure that we tell her to watch minute 7 of the quarterly meeting, so she knows that she'll be embarrassed at that point. But she is retiring, and that gave us an opportunity to restructure within executive services. And the way we're restructuring is that Christy Ridenauer, who has served as the executive services confidential assistant, is going to be moving into the HR confidential assistant position, as well as then continuing her duties as board secretary, which is a huge investment of time with that. So that's going to go with her. And we are not going to be replacing the executive services confidential assistant, because we are going to instead be hiring a marketing and communication specialist. So it's going to be a better use of our resources. It's putting everyone who's on the bus in the right seat of the bus when it comes to skill sets and things and tasks that need to be completed. So it's truly been a team effort with this plan, and we're really excited to see it through its fruition. So Christy is going to be taking over for Shar officially September 1. But they are beginning the transition already. And Christy has started her training into the HR area as of this past Monday, and will continue on through the official transition and Shar's retirement. Okay, so I believe those are the major items that I wanted to share when it comes to overall organizational updates. And so I also have another major thing to share, and that is unfortunately we have Lynn Liu, who's going to be retiring on June 30th. And so Lynn, thank you again for your service to the intermediate unit. It has been an absolute pleasure to work so closely with you over the past years, and you are definitely, oh, that's a very new thing there. 100, where does that come from, Matt? The 100 there, that's a new reaction.
A new reaction.
Look at that.
Upgraded Zoom features.
There you go. Okay, so I'm gonna have to check that out. So anyway, sorry I got distracted there, Lynn, from honoring you. But again, Lynn, it's been a pleasure, and I know I represent 100% of everyone in the organization, and thanking you for your years of service. With Lynn's retirement, that gave us an opportunity to look for a new team member, and the board was gracious enough to support a plan where we would have an overlap of the new financial services director to come in while Lynn was still employed here for a 6-week overlay, which we know it's going to be very beneficial to everyone involved and the organization as a whole. So it is my pleasure to introduce Ms. Tammy Good, who is our new financial services director, who has started with us. When was that? May 9th is when your first day was?
May 16th.
May 16th. And she agreed to come back on the 17th and every day ever since. And so we're so happy to have her. Tammy comes to us with a lot of experience in the school setting. She has served as a business manager for the Jeanette School District. She also served as a business manager. It was United, correct, Tammy?
Yep.
United School District, and most recently served as the business manager for the River View School District, which I still to this day am wondering, why would you leave a job that is right across the street from Oakmont Bakery? So, but we are so glad that she did. And so Tammy, I want to welcome you to the organization, and I know everyone on the team is looking forward to working closely with you, and hopefully the past few weeks has shown the true spirit here of what it's like to work here at the Westmoreland Intermediate Unit. So welcome aboard.
Thank you. Everybody has been wonderful. So thank you, everybody who I've run into and met at this point.
Awesome. All right. So with that, that was a major organizational announcement that we wanted to make sure that we shared. So let's go to Lynn and see if you have any updates. And then Tammy, if you want to share anything, you can go after Lynn.
Yeah. So first, I do want to welcome Tammy. It's been a lot of fun working with her the last 3.5 weeks. I think we're laughing as much as we are working, which is a good thing. It's good for both our souls. As far as our organization goes, the finance organization is kind of gearing down on 21-22. We in about 3 weeks that fiscal year will be closing. We have a lot of stuff that happens after that for several weeks to months as far as getting programs reconciled and final invoicing out for programs. But the other thing that we are working on right now is all the final 22-23 budgeting that has to go before the board. So we're in the midst of doing all that. We have our insurance renewals going on, our premiums for our insurance renewals and everything else. So at this point, we're in a good place. I think it's good timing for training with Tammy. And as always, I appreciate the staff because I can't do what I do without them. They do all the day-to-day stuff and allow me to do the job. So I just want to appreciate them.
All right. Thank you very much, Lynn. And Tammy, is there anything that you would like to say or share?
Don't have anything else to share. Lynn pretty much covered it. I think the only other thing, Lynn, would be setting up the payroll system for the next school year. That's all coming in addition to closing out the prior school year. So that's where we're at this point.
Excellent. All right. Well, thank you very much, Tammy. And I will attest, I hear laughter coming out of that office a lot. So it is absolutely wonderful to hear that. All right. So let's now shift to Tim Hamill, who's our curriculum services team director. So Tim, what do you have for us today?
Good afternoon, everyone. Just a few things. Wanted to update everybody from our angle what's happening. Finishing up a great year. It's been a very busy one, and as it has been for everybody. But everything's kind of wrapping up and then rolling right over into what's coming next. So. First of all, we E-Academy did another year of exponential growth, and yeah, it was a busy year, and as was the year before. So we're still way above our averages in terms of numbers of students that we serve, numbers of coursework, courses that have been enrolled. So it's been a very busy year for us, and on the heels of that, and the things that have happened this year in terms of what our districts are asking, synchronous learning is on the forefront of their minds. And so we've had to work, Becky and her team have been really striving to find answers in the realm of synchronous learning and how we supply that service to our districts as well. Some exciting things happening on that front, and some very big developments that we have here, and some things that we're just now rolling out to the districts in terms of what will be available. So make a long story short, it will be a very, I think a very comprehensive solution that'll be on the table for our districts to take advantage of, one that will provide that service if they desire to go through us for that particular synchronous learning service. So very, very much thankful to Becky and her team for all the work that was done to pull that together. It took quite a bit. Speaking of other new things, I think I may have mentioned at our last quarterly meeting that we were in the process of working on a new professional learning initiative, and we have done, as a team here in Curriculum Services, have done some awesome work together trying to pull this new initiative into play. It is called Play Westmoreland, Play standing for Professional Learning and You. And it is a comprehensive, personalized approach to professional learning. We will be bringing this out in the fall for our folks here at the IU to take advantage of. And we'll also hopefully be bringing our districts on board into this as well. What makes this unique is that it is an on-demand, take it as you need it approach to professional learning, one where everybody can sort of choose their own adventure, if you will, and provide a very diverse amount of topics and subject areas to provide professional learning. It also opens up the door for all of our districts to provide content as well. So not only are they consumers, but they are also creators of content within the system. So our goal is to really open up the door for sharing to take place, for districts who are doing great things to share what they're doing and to be able to put that into a professional learning experience for everybody. It's a very comprehensive program. There's a lot to it. There's, a lot of different angles and a lot of different things to put out there, and it will take a considerable amount of effort on our part as an IU to support it and make it happen. So this is really one of our primary initiatives as a team. So we're excited about it. We're beginning to introduce it to our superintendents this week and next week. So stay tuned, more to come. And it's a very exciting thing for us to be rolling out. A couple of other things I wanted to mention just briefly. We are also working on a Principal Leadership Academy. So one that will provide a new experience for our administrators in the county. This was a direct ask of us from our superintendents, and one that we're working hard with some outside help to provide that in the fall. And so far, so good. Things are going well. And I think we'll have something on the table for them at that point. ESL, huge development in ESL in terms of numbers. We're seeing an exponential growth in our English learners across the county, as is the case everywhere. And we are also seeing an increased demand for our services. So that's actually pushing us to move things from a part-time position, which ESL has always been a part-time teaching position, to a full-time role. So that is a fairly big change for us in terms of how we operate. We are in the process of getting the feedback from our districts in terms of what they need, what their requirements will be, and where we will need to have service. So it's coming together, and we should be ready in the fall to bring out that piece as well. Last but not least, one of the things that from the PDE side of the world that we have on our plate is the Accelerated Learning Initiative. And just to be, I guess, concise about how I explain this, it's really the effort from PDE to drive recovery in our school districts on all fronts, all systems, all learning for students, systems managements within our districts, and everything that needs addressed here as we move forward. And there are some trainings that will be coming. There are some things that will be, we as an IU will be supporting for the department as the year goes on. The ask of us is to deliver training to our districts and support and help to deliver what PDE is asking. It's still in the works, and it's still a little bit unclear as to exactly what it looks like, but hopefully that picture becomes clear as we reach the start of the school year. And that's it from the curriculum services team. Thanks.
All right. Thank you very much, Tim. I very much appreciate it. And let's now go to Matt Thomas. Matt Thomas, what do you got going on for us today?
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. I just wanted to highlight some of our developments since the last quarter of the school year. These talking points we typically share with our with our WIU board as well. And so I'm taking a moment here to highlight four areas that we recently discussed. The first one is, some of you may be familiar with our BEST program, which stands for Building Experiences for Student Transition. The learners in this program, typically, they are a learner with a disability, either in vision or hearing. And they work together across all of our Westmoreland County schools with peer groups that they share similar experiences. Most recently, we had an advocacy event at the Twin Lakes Park on May 24th, and that included an art masterclass for our BEST program transition students. And it provides an opportunity for those students to identify with typical peers that have similar life experience and can share awesome opportunities for growth and innovation. Coming up this fall, we have another series of our countywide speech and language meeting. This fall will kick off on October 26th, which will include 3 focuses, foci, I guess I should say, not focuses, foci, related to Tier 1 instruction and the response to intervention continuum. You may have heard ELA teachers talk about word walls. Well, speech language pathologists can design sound walls. And so we're very excited to be teaching the contrast between word walls and sound walls with our literacy intervention team, Amy Cavalier and our TAC team, and Amanda Winor, our speech language pathologist supervisor. And as always, we give ASHA CEU credits to all of our speech language pathologists in the organization, as well as SLPs all across Westmoreland County. and coupled with Act 48 hours for their professional learning experiences. Finally, all of the special education student services directors in Westmoreland County had the opportunity to interact with Attorney Carrie Smith and Attorney Charlie or Charles Jelly. Charles is a hearing officer in the Office of Dispute Resolution, which is led by Carrie Smith, and they provided us some information on where do the disputes lie when it comes to special education. In the table I'm sharing on the screen right now, you'll see there's a table there of due process, mediation, facilitated IEPs, which means that you actually have a trained person that leads an IEP team through the process. And sometimes there are opportunities for resolution meetings to have that facilitated as well. If you look past the last 3 years, and this is important for our staff to note, because a lot of our staff members go out into our countywide school districts, you'll see that this is sort of pre-pandemic to post-pandemic. The columns to the right give you a statewide total. You'll then see the IU7 total, which is discrepantly low compared to the next two columns to the right. And that's our largest sample size across the state of Pennsylvania. So SDOP or SDOP stands for the School District of Philadelphia, and the related IU26, which supports the School District of Philadelphia, which is our largest population center in the Commonwealth. So comparatively, when we look at that percentage-wise, IU7 is doing very well in terms of mitigating disputes and getting through the resolution, keeping things solved at the lowest level possible, if you will, as we often say here at the IU. So this was an excellent learning experience for our district special ed and student services directors. It was an opportunity to interact with people at the state level, and we hope to grow this portion for all of our districts to learn on best practices or better practices in dispute resolution. So that's a summary of the last 3 months in the Student Services Division.
All right. Thank you very much, Matt. Thank you very much. And I think you've now set the bar a higher here when it comes to team updates for the organization, having a handout like that. So just saying.
I don't know about that.
All right. Well, with Eric, technology and infrastructure team, Eric is en route from Kiski and doesn't have some good connection. And so the one item that he was going to talk about, and I told him, I texted him and I told him I'd take care of it myself. And that is most recently, his team is working on the multi-factor I can't say it. Multi-factor somebody say it for me.
Authentication.
Thank you very much. Yes, I'm tongue-tied. Anyway, their team has been working on implementing it throughout the whole organization. It started out as a small pilot of a few people, then it expanded to the administrative team, and now it is. And then it was to the financial services team, and now it's across the whole organization, where employees will have the opportunity to either download something on their phones to authenticate themselves when looking at email, or they will have to get a special device that will generate a code that would go into that. So I'm not sure quite where we're at in terms of the number of people that still need to respond. So if you haven't responded to Eric's survey, it's really important to do so. I think it's important to understand, why we're doing this. And the reason is that it's really tied to our cyber security insurance. With the number of cyber attacks that are going on for companies and educational institutions, insurance companies have been raising their rates when districts or school entities don't have things such as MFA in place. And I think, Lynn, you can, and Tammy, you can vouch for me if I'm saying this correctly or not. We're now at a point where insurance companies will not insure entities if they don't have these things in place. So it's kind of like a forced thing. So am I correct in that, Lynn, in describing that?
Yeah, and we even heard last week at our conference that while they may charge you a premium and give you a policy, if you don't have it in place, they have exclusions. They have like a disclaimer that if you don't have it in place, it really is null and void. So it has to be in place for a cyber coverage.
Yeah. And, we're starting to see this in our personal lives in terms of signing into apps and things like that. So this is just kind of part of the new way of authenticating ourselves when we're going into apps. And it's really for everyone's protection when it comes to protection against fraud. So I know Eric's team has been working on that diligently because by the beginning in the next school year, we want to make sure everyone either has it in place on their phones if they choose to use that, or they have a device. And if you don't have either of those things, you're not going to be able to access your email, your calendars, your Microsoft Teams, and the like. So it is really an important aspect of that. So that'll conclude Eric Vaughn's report. And he said he's going to give my report the next time we have a quarterly meeting. So that was the deal. All right. And I have this on tape now, so I can refer to this because yeah, he won't believe me if I tell him, yeah, that's what you said. All right. Well, anyway, that really concludes the information that I have. And are there any questions from those who have joined us online? Do appreciate people joining in, live with us. Anything that you might want to share? Any questions you might have?
I do just want to share that I am going to really miss Lynn Liu a whole lot. I think I speak for everyone. But I remember when Cindy left, and we were all so, sad about that. But we definitely were blessed in having Kim come. So we feel that way about Tammy as well. So thank you, Lynn. And I do want to keep in touch with you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Denise. I'm going to miss you all. I will.
Thanks for sharing that, Denise. Okay. All right. Any other? Okay. Now everyone stay on. I'm gonna conclude here, and I want everyone to stay on because I have a question for those who have joined us live here. So we'll conclude for today. Thank you so much for joining us today. Forgive me, I have not identified when our first quarterly meeting will be for the next school year, but that will be coming out in August. That way, I know everyone's just waiting to put it on your calendars for the next year. Lynn, you're always invited to join us as an alumni to hear what's going on. And it is always available on our YouTube channel, on our website as well. All right, so thanks everyone. Thanks everyone in person who joined us today. Keep on keeping on, and everyone stay classy. All right, take care everyone. The recording is now concluded.